Welcome to Red Zone in the Lab. Red Zone in the Lab. We ain't been here in a minute. On in the Huddle podcast. Appreciate y'all for stopping by. Today we're gonna get into it's Combine Week. You know, I think yesterday we're gonna go over the schedule of the Combine, when the players report. They doing it by positions. This year, I think that's kind of common, but we're gonna go through that, let y'all know the positions and what they got going on every day this week when they doing the medicals, when they are doing the measurements, when they are doing the on-field work, et cetera, et cetera. But I do want to say this before we get started. I was under the impression that Caleb Williams was coached at some point by Cliff Kingsbury. When we got Cliff Kingsbury, everybody went in an uproar that, yes, we are definitely getting Caleb now because of Cliff Kingsbury. So I'm like, all right, that makes a little sense. You know, he coached them, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, he never coached Caleb. He was in Tahiti or Thailand, wherever he was at, after he stunk it up in Arizona. And he got a call from USC if he want to come in to be a consultant or an advisor or whatever it is that his position was. But it wasn't quarterbacks coach. It wasn't offensive coordinator. And the position title that he had, it covers a multitude of things on the team. So at what point was he coaching Cliff Kings? I mean, he was coaching Caleb Williams. Why are we so excited? And all of a sudden, because we got Cliff, we definitely know we can play Caleb. Oh, bro, it doesn't mean anything. And if we do get Caleb, you know, I'll be all for it. But I definitely don't think it's going to be because we have Cliff. It's going to be because Adam Peters and the crew decided that this is the player that we want, and we're going to go up to get this player. It's not because of Cliff. I know it looks like Ceelo is at a hotel, but he disappeared. I don't know exactly where he is. But Breeze, what's good, man?
What's good?
Oh, there you go.
Is he back? No, he's still frozen.
He trying to slide around the camera. Welcome back to Owner the Huddle podcast. Brother Deuce is here. He's here to defend his O-line. I'm getting sick and tired of you dudes and this fan base talking about my O-line. We gonna handle this today. They said tell CJ to drop that.
No, y'all not taking that, bro. Y'all not taking that.
Nah, it's over. You already put it out there, DT.
I put Troy Apke because he ain't doing that. He ain't getting on the field. He ain't getting on defense at all.
See, that's the problem. You drinking that South Eagle.
Seriously, he's gonna make the team, and he's gonna be a up back or something.
Up back is crazy. He's not making the team.
What is listen, if he makes this team as an up, you know what? Nope.
All the fans leaving again.
They love trap.
Welcome back to Owner the Huddle podcast. I am Deuce, and we got DT. We got Ceelo. Breeze is going to be in the building soon. Ceelo, what's good, man?
What's good? What's good? It's Combine Week, aka Underwear Olympics. So everybody all excited, and let's get it rocking.
DT, if you don't want me on this show all week talking about the Combine, I understand. Just let me know, because you know how I feel about the Combine.
Oh my God! For those that
we're not here during the last combine preview show and draft process. Deuce has made his stance on the combine that a lot of this stuff don't really matter. Doing these drills and all this stuff is like some of it don't matter. They ain't gonna do it on the field, which has some solid points, but you know what? My New Year resolution says do not argue with Deuce about the Scholar Combine. I'm not doing it. I'm not. I'm gonna let you have your opinion, have my opinion. But glad to be here again. Different vibes this year, different organizational structure this year, and cannot wait for Adam Peters and Jen Quinn to get things rolling in Indianapolis.
For sure. What's up, Utah? What's up, Garage? Just watched it. I watched I kind of saw some peaks of it. Mm-hmm. I think it's like 21 minutes, something like that. So I'm definitely gonna check it out. I would have tried to put it on here, but they didn't put it on their Twitter page. It's just on YouTube, so I'm not going to be able to play it on here. What's up, Chuck? Cliff was in the hallway walking past quarterback room where Caleb was having a meeting. They ate lunch in the same cafeteria.
That's nasty.
What's up, Goose? What's up, Goo? Oh man. So I mean, let's go ahead and get this out the way. For me, talking about the combine, I think the medicals and interviews is definitely important at the combine for sure. And I also believe that players usually the combine, the invites is given to players that's projected to go day 1, day 2, right? The first three rounds.
Yeah.
And I think those are, appreciate you, Chuck. those are usually players that has a lot of, like, scouts and stuff have a lot of tape. They have a lot of scouts at their games. They're pretty known because they're on big boards all over, so forth and so on. But for me, when it comes to the actual workouts and things like that, I really just don't think it really matters, right? Like, I don't think a player has ever ran a straight line after snap, 40 straight yards, just ran straight line. People talk about the shuttles and all that. I don't think Breeze, you would know. Has there ever been a route ran like a shuttle in the NFL? So it's things like that. And then I look at this though, right? Like, most of the All Pros, Hall of Famers, and all that, most of those come on day 3, and those are people that's not even invited to the combine. I think the combine should be, for one thing, the HBCU shouldn't be separated. They should be at the combine, and I also think the smaller schools that don't get a lot of publicity, a lot of scouts coming to their schools, should be invited to the combine. Because if you see someone that you don't have no tape on, he run like a 4.2, you like, wait a second, like, and he's out there catching everything. That's going to force you to go back and watch his tape to see who this guy is. But we know it's all about money. It's all about advertisement. It's all about all that stuff. So that's definitely not going to happen. But that's kind of like my overall pitch, or not pitch, but my overall stance on the combine. What's good, Breeze?
What's good, y'all?
Kirk Cousins, Pittsburgh. Hold on a second. Is that breaking news, Telly?
I ain't saying nothing. Let's continue.
Let's see. What up?
That man been talking to the Bears. Someone, they got Bears fans tagging me. It's on the way, bro. But to your point, Deuce, I think you definitely have some solid points about your stance about the combine, because really, when we look at it, the combine doesn't predict who's really going to be great. If you're really looking at stance, like, you still have to go through the player evaluation. You have to trust what you see on tape, and you have to make that decision for yourself. But the combine, you have a bad combine, that's not the biggest determination of what your NFL career is going to go. I mean, like we've seen guys like that have been okay, and like to your point, they had solid NFL careers or they become Hall of Famers. Like for instance, obvious one, Tom Brady. He comes in 6'4", little lanky, doesn't look like he has a strong arm, not athletic to everybody's but he was a person that when he got to the league, got his opportunity, he worked hard and he built upon his weaknesses, and he had the career that obviously is considered one of the greatest stories in this national sport. So I think that's where the part is when you're looking at the evaluation of the player, and it's more of like just predictions at this point.
Yeah, Atali said that was some rumors floating around with Kirk Cousins. That wouldn't be bad if they missed out on Justin Fields in Pittsburgh. Hey, Miss Janet. Tally said your background making him dizzy, Ceelo. It's the blur, probably. Garage said the combine is important for third rounders and below because it showcases. But see, that's my point though. Like those guys that's projected. Sorry for that. We're in DC. Like those guys that's projected to go in the lower rounds is not invited to the combine for the most part.
You get some of those guys, but I just like the whole the most annoying part about the whole draft process for me is that in general, you taking guys like scouts have been going to see these dudes in practices. They've been going to see these dudes play games. They have plenty of game film on them to the point that they should be able to evaluate seeing the good football player when they knowing a good football player when they see one. Pardon me, I'm tired. Knowing a good football player when they see one, and then the entire draft process is about looking at him run around in shorts and a t-shirt and trying to figure out why he won't be a good football player. And like we've seen dudes plenty of times like shoot up draft boards for having a great combine or a great pro day, despite maybe not having a stellar college career. Then they get in the league and don't do nothing, and vice versa. Like dudes that look good on film, look good in game, don't have a great combine and may slide the draft and they get picked later than they should get picked, and they have great long-term careers. Like I think at some point they need to make some kind of tweak to the combine where dudes are at least wearing a helmet, if not shoulder pad, like something to better simulate, at least football movements if you're going to be doing some of these drills and stuff like that.
I think your earlier point about how HBCUs or smaller school type guys should be invited. Man, the combine and this is the part you could probably chime in there, Breeze, but man, the combine is kind of exclusive. These invites don't. These invite only. I was listening to our guy in Washington, B. Mitch, talking about how he was there, but he got more work or he got more value out of the pro day where he went to school, because there is where he did the bench press. He did some of the other stuff that he was unable to do at the combine for whatever reason. So I don't know. I feel like the combine and the way it's structured is kind of hard to add to that. It's like if you start a schedule, you got a certain schedule for every position group, and it's kind of like tiered. And I think it's like a lot of dudes for a short period of time. They either have to expand it as far as the time length, or maybe give the same amount of credence and the same amount of like access and popularity to the other combines, like HBCUs or some of the bigger pro days. There's other things they can do to enhance it, I feel, that would allow smaller school players to get that shine. So and it's happening anyway. Like you said, they do have HBCU combines and other smaller combines and pro days and regional. They have like regional combines. It's like a lot. But we only talk about this combine because that's just the one that you see for the most part, on NFL Network. So they just probably haven't really given that much, highlight to these other activities. But it's something they could probably look into.
I mean, I have an idea. It's a crazy idea that could kind of help with, getting smaller school guys or HBCU guys looks at the main combine. Is that if you accept this invitation to the combine, you have to participate in the combine. You can't accept this invitation that could go to somebody else that may need to show up and show well and decide, hey, I'm not going to throw, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. If you're going to do it at your pro day, then do it at your pro day and let somebody else get this combine spot in front of all of these scouts. Because we see dudes, especially when you talk about like the quarterback position, but we see dudes every year take these invitations that could go to a more needing player, and all they're doing is getting measured, height, weight, hand size, arm length, all that kind of stuff, and then they go on about their business. They don't participate at all, which is fine. That's your prerogative. But if you're going to go do all of that at your pro day anyway, then let somebody else that may actually need that combine spot to show well and potentially get drafted to have it. Like we interviewed guys last year doing the draft process that didn't get combine invites. That maybe one of those guys could have used that combine spot versus a quarterback that most people figure is going to be picked in the top 10 regardless of what happens.
What's up? Yeah. What's up, Commanders fan update? Appreciate you. Fox, appreciate you, man. Parlay make the combine and the Senior Bowl together. What's up? Oh yeah, he's still on our back.
Well, the Senior Bowl is a much better representation because you're actually getting to see guys do functional football things in football equipment.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
practice and all that. Like practice and the one-on-ones and all that. And I think didn't they invite juniors this year?
Yeah, they invited a couple of juniors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for it. Yeah. So let me ask y'all this: do you all think? Say what? Yeah, they can hear you. So let me ask y'all this: do you think? And we talk about being drafted into great situations where, when a person is drafted, is somewhere that they can flourish, maximize their strength, improve their weaknesses. Let's say if I gave that to every single player that's drafted this year. Put you in the right situation, right coaches, you have your opportunities, maximize your strength, all those good things that a player asks for coming out. Will he be an all-pro?
No. I think football is not like a math equation. You know what I'm saying? I feel like football, it's a lot of things you can't measure, heart, determination. This is not a sport for like regular human beings. I mean, you're doing things that physiologically you're not supposed to do. Hence, you have things like CTE,
Right.
things like that. So for guys that are excelling at this sport at this level I think are just different. So you could give them the coach, perfect situation. You can give them all the resources, great training program, but if they ain't got it up here and in there, man, because you got to push through all kinds of stuff, injury or being hurt, call it, or hurt injury, however you want to say it. You got to push through things that are very uncomfortable, and you're competing all the time. I just feel like that's why this sport, that's why we're on this podcast. It's such a interesting environment, and so if it was that easy, man, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't be talking about it. But that's why you got the first round bust, quote unquote bust, and sometimes you got the seventh round, heroes. It just, this thing is like, there's no way to figure it out, in my opinion. So I think it's so much more.
And that's the thing, DT, is like we have players, right? Like Justin Fields, for instance. All we keep hearing is he can be this, he can be that, as long as he has this, and that. Like, how long do we wait? And how long is it the actual quarterbacks or the players' problem and not the coaches?
I think that's where, you're making that point. And when we talk about stuff like this, is the time that these guys have. A lot of these people are not afforded for time because every year drafting or free agency or any type of form of transaction, they're going to find guys that could possibly do your job at the same rate or cheaper or find someone better than you. That's just how natural the NFL is. And I think for trying to do that cesspool of trying to have all these guys, if they have the right coaching, if they're in the right situation, sometimes reality just has to sit in that some of these guys are just regular guys. They're not really going to be as special as you believe to be or exceed the expectations that you have for them. Some of them just have certain roles for their teams. Like, I'll give you one example. Caleb Von Chason for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That was a guy that I was very high on coming out of LSU. I thought he was going to be one of those maybe top 12 to 15 pass rushers in the NFL. He hasn't done anything. I don't know if it's because of the situation he's in or he's just a regular guy, because you can be a dog at LSU, but when you're going up against other guys who are at the same level as you and going up against offensive linemen who are not only as talented, but they're being taught these certain techniques on how to neutralize you, or they study you every single day at practice, that's where it is the biggest difference in the NFL. Because a lot of people think if you just get talent, it's going to fix everything. No. The coaching, the techniques, the nuances of the game, that stuff is just as important for a lot of these young players, because now we see what college football is. And I've seen a couple of people like Kurt Warner has talked about it, like college football has changed in terms of like the development of some of these players, because a lot of things is just really kind of simple to help our guys, but they're not really preparing them as much for the complexity of the National Football League.
And Bree, so I think when you look at these players, you have to look at it in tiers, right? Like right now, you're coaching on a high school level.
Mm-hmm.
And if you even let's take it down like Pop Warner or, rec ball, whatever you want to call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you watching certain kids, it's like they are so dominant at this level. They're so dominant, they're elite, dominant at this level.
Mm-hmm.
But then they go to high school where you have more kids coming from different areas.
Right.
So now they're not the best anymore. Right. And then you continue to move to college, and college got players from all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
You're not that elite player that you were in high school. So I think for me, I think sometimes those ceilings that we always look for in certain players have a cap to it. Yeah, you may have been the best player in college football, but when you go up, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the best in the NFL.
Yeah, everybody has a ceiling, and when you talk about sports, it's different. So like, what may make you what may have made you a average or decent college player, you may translate very well to the NFL game, or vice versa. Something that made you elite in college may not transfer over well to the NFL. But like everybody has a ceiling. At some point, you reach your ceiling. Whether that's being great at Pop Warner and average in high school, or great in high school, average in college, and so forth and so on. Like you may even get to the league and be good, but you're not a Hall of Famer. Like at some point, you have a ceiling, and I'm cool with the pre-draft process, trying to find what that ceiling is, but not necessarily just breaking down guys and being like, I know he's been good, but let me find out why he isn't. It's kind of a fine line, you know what I mean? But
yeah, that's really important. But like DT, you watch a whole lot of college, you know a lot about these guys, and I think Ceelo talked about it a lot, especially talking about the quarterbacks. How important is conference and out of conference play? How important should we look at these players based on the competition? I mean, because you got somebody like Purdy, right? I mean, he ain't really had no competition. You know what I'm saying? But then he gets to the NFL. So it's like, I mean, even Luck, right? I mean, did Luck have a lot of competition?
He was in the Pac-12 just like Caleb Williams and them was.
I'm talking about when he came out. Was the Pac-12 where it is?
Nah. It was definitely better. They had Oregon. I think USC was still prominent at the time.
Oh yeah, Matt Lyon and all them.
Yeah, they had a couple of teams, but I think for me, like I'm big on competition, but I'm not big on competition because to me, I just believe football is football at the end of the day. Because you're gonna have guys that you never heard of, and there's guys that we never heard of now. They come from schools you never heard of. They're Hall of Famers or they're great players. Like Pierre Garcon, to me, went to Mount Union. He was a good, solid, consistent player. So I don't value as much as competition as a lot of people do, because especially when as much as how dominant the SEC is and how they recruit and get some of these defensive minded players, they're still going up 40-some points a game in college football. Now, some of that is because of how offenses are, how the game has changed, but like I just look at it as like, to me, I'm not really looking at competition as much, but I will look at it because you want to look at those games, like for instance, like some of the players you look at, like, okay, what you're going to do when you play against Alabama, or when you do against Ohio State or Michigan, those type of big blue bloods, and that's the games we value. But then you still have to go in context, like some of the things they do. And like to your point, you made a good point. Brock Purdy went to the Big 12. Everybody just assumes like the Big 12 consistently does not play defense. Now, I will slightly disagree. There are some points they actually do have good defenses. It's just they're not acknowledged as much because they don't produce the NFL talent consistently like the Big 10 nor the SEC. So I think that's a huge misconception. And everybody just assumed Brock Purdy was going to be the same guy he was in college, but what he has that is considered elite is elite processing, able to go through his reads pre-snap and post-snap.
Yeah, what's up, South? Dimitri said he waiting for eternity for Justin Fields. And Belante, what's good, man?
The Justin Field thing is weird because like there were some problems that I saw like his last year at Ohio State, especially when we played Northwestern. It was being hesitant on zone coverage, when the guys wasn't open, trying to be patient. So that's definitely one of the things that kind of haunted him and still trying to get through him now. So that's stuff like that. You just got to pay attention to it.
Yeah, I mean, Ceelo, like Chip Kelly was averaging like almost 500 yards of total offense, and that ranked like what 20 something NCAA. So like, it's crazy, man. But I think competition has to be within your data. Like when you collecting all these data, you have all these different data points. That has to factor in, right?
I mean, for sure. I think what Chip Kelly did, what he did a great job at the college level. It's hard to translate that into the NFL, on a consistent basis. I just think specifically for those kind of offenses, and you're looking for a quarterback coming out of those systems, you just got to focus on, the fundamentals. Do they have that stuff down packed? Can they at least recognize? Is it a zone? Is it a man? Is it cover 3/4? Little basic pre-read stuff that you feel like every potential pro quarterback should have, and then go from there. I probably wouldn't spend too much. Like, I mean, no one thought. You saw the crazy stuff that Pat Mahomes was doing. I just felt like it was hard to evaluate. Like, he just was difficult to evaluate because you kind of
hard, bro.
The system he was in, he was like, that ain't gonna work. But it's like, take that out of the equation. Could he do some of those basic things with the right coaching, situation? It can work out. So you have to have some kind of like baseline, and then figure out how to get rid of all of the noise that that at least the majority of that system was not going to translate well to the NFL, but the basics will. So yeah, man, it's hard. It's hard. I feel, man, them scouts got a hard job, bro.
Yeah, bro, it's no exact science. Nothing remotely close to an exact science when it comes to scouting, especially for football. Like,
yeah. It's not. It's so tough, man. Like, people say luck and all that different stuff. it's tough, man, because like you have someone that does that, like a GM that does really well in a draft. But we had this conversation a few times before. A great draft is being able to have 3 contributors, like two heavy contributors, and one that contributes like half. Like that's a strong draft, and that's based out of 7 rounds. So that's a bad percentage if you're really looking at it. So that's how even the best talent evaluators have bad numbers when it comes to each pick. That's how like tricky it is, man.
I think the only thing where you're probably allowed a lower success rate to still be considered good is probably hitting in baseball. Like it's wild, bro.
And not only that, for them to be contributors, they have to be consistent too. Like we talk about how the 2020 class, that first year, all of them just were so good. We had high expectations. Next couple of years, next thing you know, really only one person has been consistent, and that was Cam Curl. Everybody else has had flashes, but it was never on a consistent basis to help that draft class with some of the other mistakes we made on the roster.
Yeah. And even that, like, it's because of how nuanced football is. Like, you could take somebody, one coach could draft a player, and that player looks like an absolute bust with that coach and that system. And you get a new coach and insert that player into a slightly different role, or just tweak one thing that player is doing. Now all of a sudden they're I ain't gonna say all pro, but now all of a sudden they're a good, consistent starting caliber NFL player. It's like
I'm not gonna say his name. I ain't gonna say his name, bro.
All right, man. Wow.
Oh shoot!
How was your weekend, though, Breeze?
I enjoy myself. Tired.
I saw you at Kentucky.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Been driving. I'm tired, bro.
You drove down or up and down?
Yeah, I drove from DC to Kentucky, from Kentucky to Atlanta, and from Atlanta to DC.
Sheesh.
That's crazy.
So you came straight down. What's that road from that lead from up there all the way down to
85?
85? Yeah, because I did that. Left from Detroit, went down to Kentucky, and then Atlanta, and then we went over to Alabama.
Goodness gracious.
You might have been on 75.
Oh, that's what that is? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for my trip, I had a 10-hour drive today.
You went solo or?
Yeah, solo.
Sheesh.
And probably 90% of the trip was 85 north. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
So how y'all feel about these guys? I know Breeze, you kind of mentioned about, if you're going to accept the invite, then you need to participate. How do you guys feel like they not participating fully? They only coming for medicals and interviews and not doing any workouts or measurements.
I mean, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I've never had a pro day, but if I'm not mistaken, don't they do all the same measurements at pro? Granted, your school might boost your measurements a little bit, like, because they're trying to get you.
No, the scouts is there and watching. Like, it's the same like at the combine. It's just at your school.
I know. We've seen instances where like a guy's hand will measure one thing at the combine and be slightly pro day or
unofficial.
Yeah, like
only the combine is official, right?
Right. Which maybe that's kind of the allure for some people to do it at the combine because that's considered official. But I mean, my personal opinion is that if you accept an invitation to the combine, you should have to participate in something.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like something football related. Not otherwise, if all you're going to do is get your measurements taken, we can get that at your pro day. Like, we want to see you run. We want to see you. That's the purpose of being here, essentially. Like, you're kind of just wasting our time if all you're going. If you just want to walk through the door, height, weight, hand size, arm length, and then go on about your business. Like, just my opinion. Like,
Teddy said that's much better, Ceelo.
Telly bored out there.
So we all that with it, man.
I mean, lately I just feel kind of indifferent because it's almost like, you know, the tape is out there, right? It's already out there. So that's really like their resume in a sense. So I understand for like some of us, like me personally, I would prefer to, if I haven't really seen you like that, because the amount of college football games that are on a Saturday, I would prefer to see what you can do, at least for the quarterback standpoint, at least your forward motion and stuff like that. I just think, you know, times have changed, and you know we've seen stuff like now. Of course, we talk about like injuries and stuff. Everybody sees like getting the medicals checked out, the interview process. If I'm not mistaken, though, even though people are trying to protect themselves from the combine, you can still get hurt in pro day. Because if I'm not mistaken, LeJohn got hurt on his pro day for Michigan towards Achilles, and he lost a lot of money. He was supposed to be a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just that game folks are trying to play, you know, protect themselves, but injuries are just happen anytime, any place, man. And I'm not really crazy as much like I used to be about, like, because when I was younger, I was like, man, you need to throw, bro. I don't know you like that. Like, I want to see what your motion and stuff. I want to see you run the 40 until I start caring about the 40. But I'm very indifferent about like what players do now. So that's really just my answer right there.
And that's another thing. I think the combine should be more like position refined, because a lot of stuff that they do at the combine doesn't, like, nobody cares how fast the left guard runs the 40-yard dash in, or like 95% of quarterbacks, their 40 time is well, this day is a little bit different, but very high percent of the quarterbacks, their 40 time is largely irrelevant. Like, you know, although I guess the short shuttle and stuff does kind of show your quickness and explosion, like no receiver is going to do that in the game. Like they may apply to running backs a little bit better, but like it doesn't directly apply to a lot of stuff. So, you know, like broad jump. When are you going to, like, broad jump, high jump, like all of these vertical, like
you ain't got no play call when you're doing a broad jump.
Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of that stuff doesn't matter. Even if you want to talk about hurdling somebody, that's not the same as broad jump. If anything, that's more so in your vertical. And even then, you have a running start. So like it doesn't, like all of these things don't directly, you know, transfer. Because somebody's vertical may be, you know, 28 inches, but with a running start, they hitting 40. Like, you know what I mean? They just, I don't know, like.
Yeah. Utah say team Bruce Wayne. I think most of us are, man. Like most of us is kind of content with whichever way they go. What's up, Mo? What's good, man? Say he don't care about the combine for the quarterbacks. I think. Oh yeah, go ahead, Ceelo. Give your take on it. My bad.
I'm kind of with you all, man. I'm indifferent. I like Breeze's idea. You know, if you're going to accept the invite, perform. You know, do all the drills, do all the measurements. If you aren't, then, you know, do something different. The invite shouldn't count. Maybe you have your pro day, or maybe you have, clearly if you have the option to not you know, participate, you're very, you know, fortunate to where you're probably going to get selected anyway, and you're controlling your own destiny based on how you want to show your skill set. So I'd much rather the combine be for guys who are literally trying to prove themselves, therefore they have to perform, you know, and I feel like it's kind of gone away. The guys are very first round guys are very selective in what they want to do, you know, which measurements they want to participate in, or events. And so it's kind of like, but I tend to focus on, you know, day 2, day 3 guys anyway. I like to see those guys. And to me, that's where I get to learn more about, since I don't watch as much college football, I get to learn a lot more about players and names and stuff like that. And I love the analysis they have I can't think of some of the guys. Charles, I can't think of his last name right now. A
Charles
couple of guys
Davis.
that are really,
Davis.
yeah,
Jeremiah.
he's great.
Mhm.
He is great. So guys like that, like listening to what they have to say and, kind of put it all in context.
Yeah, like we had a comment. I forget who posted it, I'm sorry, but it said something about Kyler Murray's height and Kenny Pickett's hand size. Like, fair argument, but like we saw Kenny Pickett throw the ball there. We saw Kenny Pickett throw the ball at Pitt. Like we know he can throw. Like we saw him play regardless of what if his hand size measured to be 5 inches across. We saw him play football with little hands. We saw that he could do it. So like that was just a knock that somebody made up because we saw him do it. Kyler Murray's height a little bit different, but again, we saw Kyler Murray be a great college quarterback. Kyler Murray might be like the best high school quarterback in Texas high school football history.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think about how deep that well runs. We've seen him be good regardless of his height. So like little things like that don't matter. Now, if it's a 5'8" quarterback from Alabama A&M, yeah, we might need to get his height and weight because we like we gotta see what's up with him. But Kyler Murray and like first dudes with first round grades, that stuff really doesn't matter for them.
Right.
Which furthers my point that if that's all you're going for, just don't go.
Yeah, and this is the point I'm gonna make. I think to me, this should be the biggest resolve for the NFL Combine. If you're a first round guy and your agent already telling you, unless something critically happens to your stock, and you're going in the first round, you're getting that bread, and you're not gonna throw, you're not gonna run, you're just coming there for the interview process. Can the NFL Combine people and the people in the NFL give these guys that never even get a sniff of an opportunity at a combine? Give these guys an opportunity. Give these guys an opportunity because some of these guys out here you never heard of, and they begging for an opportunity like that. Everybody's dream is to go to the NFL. Everybody's dream is to showcase their talent across the world. And nothing is better to see guys that you grew up with, that you went to school with, you competed with. They get that opportunity to showcase their talent and their character to the NFL. And Tua's brother didn't even get an invite. I know he'll kill for an opportunity right now to throw. I know he would.
He was trying not to come. He got denied though.
I think like stuff like that should help the cause for a lot of guys. Because they're like to that point, they're not really gonna hurt their stock unless something happens. Like a drug or something they found out about them, nothing's gonna hurt their stock. More likely they're going to the top 5.
And that's the thing, like nobody, the advertisers, the money, they don't want to see the D3 cornerback of the year at the combine. Like they don't want to see him. You know what I'm saying? But this is the dude that somebody drafted in the 5th round that's all of a sudden all pro cornerback. Went to a D3 school.
So that's the part that no one, unfortunately, it's a business.
Exactly.
Right. And that's the part that it's no longer about football opportunity and all that stuff. It's like it's a balance of, okay, how many opportunities do we give to like guys that don't have really good film out there, versus my sponsor is going to want to see Marvin Harrison Jr. run a 4.3.
Or just walk around.
Yeah, just walking around because he's a name and his dad and all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, there is that part too, and unfortunately, that sucks. So
I'm in the minority of people who think that the combine really doesn't need to be televised. Like, we got 75 All-Star games. You want to televise those where it's actually some semblance of actual football being played? Have at it. I don't think the combine needs to be televised, to be honest with you. But
yeah, I mean, that's like say it's the Water Olympics and such. So that's the thing. But
more people watch combine than half of the NBA regular season games combined.
Yeah, Teddy says a dog and pony show.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Don't though, Teddy. I watch the receivers just because of how I watch the receivers, but I really don't care about the combine.
I don't really watch the combine. I mean, you already know my my take on the telly. But let me ask you this, because Mo was like, they can't help. But let's say Drake May runs like a 4.5, like a low 4.5. Was it high 4.5, like 4.51, 4.52, or low 4? Ain't we no 4.4 nothing. But let's just say it, right? I think he's projected to run like a 4.6, something like that.
Mm.
Let's say he runs that, or he runs a time nobody is expecting, because it's the 40. Because like we've seen it, like we had a guy here that Dion said he's fast, and got him drafted, right? Just because of that, when he should not have been drafted. Like, does that? I think that'll definitely move him into like that number 2 overall consensus, and it shouldn't. Like that shouldn't be a factor. Like, you are who you are. Just because you run a fast 40 shouldn't mean that you're a better quarterback. But that's what's going to happen. Like, do you all think that something like that with these top 3 quarterbacks, or what do you think can hurt them or boost them as
I
far as
think the
participating in pro day?
I think the only thing that could hurt him would be if they throw in there like inaccurate or like don't have good arm strength. That's the only thing that could probably hurt them. Um, I don't think the 40 town is going to do a whole lot because it's their quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels maybe like if Jaden Daniels they run a 4.3 or 4.2, like something crazy like that. Like people already see Lamar Jackson when they look at Jaden Daniels. Even though I don't think that's a appropriate comp, but like then people that may help Jaden Daniels, but for the most part, like, I don't think certain those anything outside of throwing the football, I don't think is going to help them. Like if Drake May goes in there and bench presses 40 times, like, damn, he's strong as hell, but like he's a quarterback. Like
Yeah, I just it should move your stat. Like, running and jumping and all that shouldn't move your. And I think this is for you, DT, but it's probably me too, because I was definitely on
Yeah,
board with
I'm
Sam
sitting
as
here.
a future.
I'm
Like,
sitting here.
I was
I'm,
I
re-
was I
I'm
was
reading the
definitely
comments, right? And say DT, why you switched up though? I remember one episode after the Eagles win, you said even you got a top 5 pick, you're keeping Sam. You getting Joe Fasano. What was that game? That game was like in October, right?
yeah, that's when he was
And
balling.
Yeah.
wasn't we all on the Sam train? We
I
was
know
all
I
on the
was.
same
I mean,
train.
I ain't
that was
gonna
week
lie.
one.
Like I know the both of them. I mean, the second one too,
Oh,
but the second one was doing that little streak he was on. We were still losing, but he was out there joint balling. I definitely thought he was a franchise.
And
Like,
that
I
was
ain't
a
gonna cap.
top 5 pick. We number 2. Like, what we doing here, man? Come on, cuz. We got number 2. Get
Yeah, I mean,
together.
I've said that. Like, I've said during that point of stretch, I was like, yeah, Sam is the guy. Like, he's doing stuff we've never seen, but he just hit that wall. Like, I wonder what it'll look like if his season flipped.
And I
Like,
still think
if the
he's gonna be a
season
good player.
flipped, if half of the season flipped, like, do you think they would have went to Jacoby or do you think they would have let him play all the way through? And we saw a second half
Yo,
look good like the first half. Like, I don't know. Man.
hey, this
Bro.
dude on Venice, bro.
That got crazy.
Dude is on Venice.
You said just that. He was balling. It was fun.
Hey, that boy is Shia LaBeouf from Eagles Eye, man.
Alabama.
But yeah, we appreciate that, bad guy. But yeah, that's the thing though. Like when we talk about saying, I wonder what would have happened if the season would have flipped, because that's just usually what happens. People start off bad, then they get better. But he started off, good, but then it just, I mean, it got bad. It got real bad, bro. But it was some stuff. Did y'all see like the reports coming out that when games start to get out of hand, that EB would he would start changing the game plan that they worked on all week, that he would panic and the players would kind of get upset about it, and he would start going into a more of a tight end type kind of, like it was a crazy, I forgot who was
Yeah.
the report, But of course, you're gonna get all that stuff out now. So I mean, it don't really matter. But it's just like this season was very strange, man. Very strange.
I mean, what was the game? It depends on what the
He
game
said
plan
he was
was.
set up to fail. So I don't know, man. I mean, another report came out that Mayhew was like the odd man out, and Ron and Herney was like, do the whole, 2 out of 3 you lost, be teaming up on them and all that other stuff. So it's all types of stuff that's coming out, man. Like about last year, but they say Peter's really bigged up Mayhew on the commander's log, so he's definitely probably here for a while. He's definitely probably here for a while.
So I got a question. So if he was trying to apparently go more tie-in oriented, was he trying to make Logan Thomas a focal point?
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Because if that is beyond.
And EB also said that EB said he wasn't fired. He told him he wasn't trying. He didn't want to coach. He said he didn't want to be there. I think they said some type of position they tried to give him or something.
If you're gonna try to make someone a focal point, I would think try to make Terry a little bit of a focal point. Like, you don't have no Travis Kelce. I mean, like, you got a solid receiver.
I think EB literally copied him. You know how y'all copy and paste like
your homework assignment,
your homework assignment, or article. That's all he did from Kansas City. There was no tweaking, no assessment. He said, "This is what I know, and this is what we're gonna do." and it was. Oh, Logan Thomas. Oh, he can do the same thing Travis Kelce did. Oh, okay. So, sorry, sorry, Sam.
I hope that wasn't the case, man.
Good luck, UCLA.
The boys in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it's gonna be
65
crazy.
ain't gonna cut it, bro.
So getting back to the combine, so Adam Peters is there, Dan Quinn, Lance Newmark, Mayhew, Brian Porter. I haven't heard him like all year. Brian Porter and Rob Rogers is there. Saw some scouts and some other coaches probably be there, but they are there. And I think only Adam Peters and Quinn have a mic this week, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Peters is tomorrow at 11:30, I believe.
It's kind of early, but I think this may be the week you hear rumors about things like Cam Curl extension.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, this one, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, they've been dropping hints over the last 2 days.
You may hear even crazy. You may hear something about like a Sam Cosmi potentially. People like that, you may hear of, and then you may hear some cuts too. So, I think that's the part I'm most looking forward to. I don't know if they won't talk about that in their press conference. It'll be real generic. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But
is this year 4 for Cosmi?
So. I was about to say, is Cosmi due for the season already?
No.
I think he is. Around pick.
No.
He's entering year 4, so this would be his last year.
Okay.
So he's eligible for an extension now if they want to give him one. After 3 years, you're eligible.
Yeah, this is second year without Sheriff. 3, so yeah, he's going to his 4th year.
They might get it done.
You might hear some stuff like that. That's what I'm looking forward to. Whatever Dan and
let me put this up real quick. But maybe we can do it tomorrow. I don't feel like. So they got the D line and linebacker. Have y'all seen the chart yet?
What's
I know. I think they changed it up. Tight ends are with either tight ends or running backs with somebody else now.
Yeah, so the D line is with the linebackers. They pretty much start first. Like they arrive first, and they go through. Today they do all they registrations. Tomorrow they do their medicals and the interviews, They do more interviews on Wednesday, Thursday measurements, work, on field work. Friday they do like the bench pressing and all that. And the DBs, they arrive today. The DBs and the tight ends arrive today. Then it's the same outline as the other, like the D line and linebackers, but they just a day late. So when you get to the running back, quarterback, and what's WO?
Wide out.
Why they calling them wideouts? The running back, quarterback, and the wideouts, what they call them. They start arriving on Tuesday. And then the O-line, place kickers, and special teams. So that's the groups that got everybody grouped up. So what type of deals do you all think that's going to happen at the combine? You think we're going to get a deal done with Curl?
I don't know if it'll get done. I'm sure it'll get discussed.
Yeah, I think we'll probably hear, the chattering about whether they want to get a deal done swiftly, or they're having conversations about his contract. And probably we probably won't hear the range, but we know based on our conversations what we talked about, how much we said we'll probably pay him. I still think it's in that 14 to 15 million range. Now, I think as we see, I think that's the only one they're going to be really talking about as a key contract.
I think Kendall too, depending on what his asking price is.
That's true too.
And this is the thing without. Let me get to these right quick. My bad. What's up, Steve? Sam threw the ball 600 times. EB ruined Sam. Think about it further into the season. He got more coaching. He got the worst people from that go ruin. Oh man, y'all kind of tough on EB, man.
I disagree.
Ruin
is incredibly strong.
Yeah. What you talking about, man? Let me set my clock.
He talking about the Peters contract.
Okay. EB, what's that? Full of what's that?
Cap. Full of cap.
Oh, that's a cap. All the coaches that had to reapply for positions, so they may have decided to not. No, I mean even Quinn, like he talked about it, he said, "Yeah, I talked with him, told him he wasn't gonna blah blah blah." So, because what position would they have offered him and he would decline? Right? I mean, you assistant head coach. There's nothing. Anything would have been a downgrade, right? Like,
yeah. Maybe one game coordinator or something like that. But
ain't no one game coordinator.
Which is weird because he don't run the ball.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He don't run the ball, man.
Yeah, I don't think we penny pinch. I mean, from what we know now, we haven't heard
that boy gonna be at practice throwing swing routes at that Brian Robinson.
Yeah,
what is penny pinching though? Like what is penny pinching?
But he's not under contract. I think he got a 1-year deal.
Who?
Penny
he's in his last year.
Aki?
Yeah.
UCLA or
no? He was back. I said we penny pinching Cam Curl.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think that's the issue.
I'm trying to look for our free agents. So we got Cam Curl. You think they bring back Lucas? I don't think that gets done this week. I don't think Reeves. I think the only thing that'll get done this week is Cam Curl or something get done.
Oh, okay. So, are we thinking about some restructures too? I mean,
I could definitely see some restructures going on.
Who we gonna restructure though? But we definitely
or outright release.
Like,
I don't think you're not gonna get any release action until right at the beginning of free agency.
Logan's gonna be a post June cut for real.
I don't know. Yeah.
You got Logan. You got
Leno.
I'm still stuck on this Cam thing, dog.
Then Wiley's still on the team. Everybody, I think Wiley just need to be a guard.
Who?
Andrew Wiley.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
I
he's
don't know about starting guard though. I'll take his whole check. The way he plays that,
I think Gates is gone.
Yeah.
I think that cap hit is even for Wiley. Like whatever he's make is guaranteed, so that cap hit is going to be exactly what that is. So you either gonna pay him not to be here or pay him to be here. But we don't get anything for it. I don't think. Or maybe like $1 million or $2 million or something.
If he gonna be here, you gotta switch him, bro.
He can't play tackle.
Cannot play.
How about he not play at all?
Yeah.
No, like I think
raise the standard.
I think he's better at guard, man. I've been saying
somebody's going to have to get let go. Like they're going to have to let go in order to like actually upgrade. Because you think about it, they got Wiley, they got Leno, they got Chris Paul, they got Braden Daniels, they got Stromberg, they got Gates. Like they have Braden Daniels from last year, the 4th round pick that didn't play.
Oh, you talking about old boy?
Yeah. But they got all these dudes under contract though. Like none of these dudes are free agents, I don't think, except for Lucas.
God too. We talk about that,
and we definitely going to be here, man. Talking about more of these free agents and all. We're gonna start kicking that up. Hey, we got to put the numbers up. Had the numbers up. We're gonna look at the dead caps and all that other stuff.
I have no idea
when we go through.
Cam Curl's conscious switch is so confusing because
this what I had. I had 3 years at $40 million with like 20 to 25 guaranteed. That's about 13.3 a year.
I'm cool with that. I can live with that.
You think that's too much, DT?
No, I'm just asking Ceelo. I ain't no numbers guy.
I can live with that.
What the numbers
he's doubting my math, Ceelo. So you see what 3 years at $40 million is?
42.
No, 3 years at 40 million.
Oh yeah, it's like 13 million a year or something like that.
Yeah.
Give him 20 million. 20.
Sportrack has him 14 million
13
a year, 4 years.
14 at 4 years.
7 million. Yeah.
Once you get above like 13.5, I start having questions about it.
Yeah, I mean, I started like 12.2, and then we.
And by the way, we're in Marcus Williams and Jesse Bates category. Area.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Like, I wouldn't mind. I don't want to go over 15.
I don't remember who it was. I saw somebody tweet that they should franchise tag him just because they can afford to do it, and that the franchise tag like $17.1 million.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
I know it doesn't. I'm just saying, like, I've seen somebody float the idea. Like that doesn't. Yeah, Twitter's stupid. But like that's a terrible idea. Like, so not just 17.1, but 17.1 guaranteed, fully guaranteed.
Like, to me, he's not a friend. To me, he is a player that you should figure out what to pay. It's not that complicated.
No, I've said, I think,
in my opinion,
I think the best course of action for both him and the team is for him to hit the open market and see what his actual value is. Mm-hmm. Because he's probably more valuable to the Commanders than he is to most of the other teams around the league. So he'll probably get paid higher here anyway. But you don't want to offer him 15 and his value is 12.2 or 12.5 everywhere else. Like,
that's how I go. I go in at 12.2, see what they talking about. Try to get 13. Let's just get this done before.
I'm fine with the floor being like you starting at 12 or something at the floor. But
somebody was like 8. I was like, wait a minute. I'm like, what you mean 8? You can't pay that man no $8 million a year.
Once you start getting to like 14, 15, I think you're talking about, and like you're pushing into like the elite category. And I don't think he's a very good player, but I can't justify giving him elite money. Like the last time he had an interception, we were still in quarantine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I need more from the player to justify $15, $16 million.
So here's the thing: if it's touchy. I mean, if I'm gonna listen to the if I'm him, if I'm his agent, I'm gonna listen to the Commanders, see what they have me pegged at. I I might want to hit the open market. I don't know how much they do this whole because of the what do you call it, tampering period and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but like it just takes one team to think you're like overvalue you, and there may be some crazy team out there. I shouldn't say crazy, but there may be some team out there that's gonna be like, we love Cam Curl, like he's a problem, and here's 60 million, 3 years, boom. And that can happen, which is good for him.
If a team wants to offer him that,
because I think
that's what
I would not be surprised if somebody did that for him, because the safety market, what he does in that that quarters type defense, he plays that Viper role, he covers relatively healthy, all that stuff. Somebody may really value that, and we may be in a situation where we need a new fresh start. He's probably kind of part of that old regime. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I think a big part of his value is his versatility. Somebody else may not value his versatility, as they may want to pigeonhole him as strictly as a strong safety, where his value is his ability to move around. Like I've been saying, he's one of the few that actually benefited from the I don't want to use the word, but from the thought process of the last regime.
Yeah, but another wild card is Javon Curse, because he plays a similar role. Javon plays a similar roles. I mean, Curl plays more, but he still plays that big nickel position. He covers tight ends. He plays linebacker. So, but the only thing Nix was telling me that you could still have both of them, because he only made $6 million this past year. He got a 2-year deal. And he was kind of in the same position Curl was in a few years ago, and he tested the market, and he came back only like a 2-year, $15 million deal. Though it was like little money, but he's out there. So, but Nick said Dan Quinn do a lot of single high. So you can have, it's possible that you can have both of those guys on the field at the same time. But I wonder if he plays a part in it.
But they have Quan, and that's the competition, right? That's the leverage.
I don't know if Quan is. I don't know, man.
I don't think Quan is.
I think Quan's more of a free. I think in a perfect world, if that's the case, I think you move Quan to free and bump Defoe over to strong.
Yes,
the Defoe had issues when Cam went out, though.
Either way, just a new defense. I feel like, I feel like from a negotiation perspective, I'm like, we don't necessarily we want you, we don't need you. You know, so I have guys that I can work with. I got the draft coming up. We got free agency. Yeah. Like, meet me halfway, because we like you as a guy we drafted. Blah 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 blah.
Been here and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we want you. I mean, as far as I know, he's a good dude, and everyone, he's working hard, etc. But I got a limit on all that stuff. I got options.
Yeah, I'm completely after what we just went through. I'm kind of good on like he's a great dude, let's keep him around thing. Like,
raise a standard. So Garage, yes, I think John Allen is the only player I think we can actually restructure that where it makes sense. Terry, I think we can't really do any restructuring for him until next year, and he definitely can't restructure Payne. I don't think there's nobody else.
But by the way, man, I'm not worried about the salary piece. The cap is $250 million. It's going up $30 million or $25 million from last year to 24. Like, we got to think about things differently. Guys, quarterbacks making $50 million. That's kind of normal now, right?
It's not that. My bad.
That's it. I just think about the cap. Everyone worries about think about wide receivers for $25 million a year. That's like the big number.
He said bullfighter.
But now, man, think about the cap in a different angle, man. The cap has gone up almost, 10% in 1 year. So that's a big deal for what we're talking about. So don't be surprised if Cam gets $18 million a year or some shit that's you didn't think about it, but it's not actually that crazy in terms of a percentage of cap.
Yeah, because in 2 years it's gonna look like a steal.
Right.
Yeah. My only thing is I don't want to be in the thought process of let's just overspend because we can afford to do it. You know what I mean? Because for the sake of, since we're talking about Cam, let's say, just to use, whole numbers, let's say Cam's value, let's say his value is 15, but we pay him 20. that additional $5 million could go towards a different player at a different position that could help build up the roster versus just throwing money because you have it. That's my only concern as far as overpaying people. And I understand that most teams are willing to overpay for their own guys. I just don't want to grossly overpay.
Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mo.
I think you tend to always overpay in free agents. Usually free agents, because free agents are leaving their original team because the teams don't want to pay them. So you tend to be in this like weird situation. I tend to feel like you overpay in free agency in general because that's just what it is.
I mean, it's negotiation.
But I think you rank it right. Like, do you want to overpay a strong safety? Like that doesn't even make sense. Maybe you want to overpay a left tackle. Okay, I'll overpay him. That makes sense. But do you want to overpay these other positions that doesn't even make sense? Because like, what are we doing? So I think it's okay depending on the circumstances.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing when we talk about these safeties and strong safeties and nickel backs and blah blah blah. It's kind of becoming a premier position if these tight ends keep, taking these next levels and getting better, because it's like cornerbacks can't cover them because they're too small. Linebackers is too slow. So you have that strong safety, and that's where these kind of guys come in. And if they can cover the slot when they go 3 wide, like I need somebody that can.
Snead is the bar, right? I mean, the way he performed.
Yeah, he's different. Yeah,
like that's what you're looking for, and didn't even make All Pro, by the way. But like that's kind of the standard. So if you can do that, totally, I agree with you, Deuce.
Yeah, because I can't overpay you as a strong safety if I can't keep you on the field.
Right.
But we know he's probably the most consistent person playing 100% of the snaps.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying? Because I need you.
He definitely plays 100% of the snaps.
Yeah.
So he has.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be his selling point.
I think he's much more valuable here. Like he's much more valuable to the Commanders than he is to probably 90% of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
based on what he does here. Like he's valuable. He can do a lot of things. I think the one thing that may hurt him as far as what he does on the field is his lack of generating turnovers. But other than that, he does. I mean, he's above average, good at covering. You know what I mean? He's a solid tackler, not necessarily a big hitter, but he's a solid tackler. And to me, I'd rather have a good tackler than a big hitter, just me personally, because big hitters tend to miss a lot. They get the oohs and ahs when they connect, but they give up large plays when they throw their body around and miss. That's like it's going to be very interesting. Like he's like a huge wild card because there's so many, if, ands, and buts when it comes to trying to work out that position just for him. And then like you get to a point where it's like, okay, do opposing offenses worry about, okay, how can I minimize Cam Curl? I don't know. Like, is it like, okay, 31 is going to do what he does, but we're not really worried about him? Or is it like, damn, how do we keep him out the game? Like, it's you know what I mean?
It's different, right?
Yeah, like, so he's truly a wild card.
Steven, like, this is where I think I think Dan has this in his back pocket. If Cam number gets too high, you know what I mean? So I don't see a world when they have both of them though. I don't. Mm-hmm. We got too many.
Are there any other defenses in this league that was similar to a Jack Del Rio defense?
2 high safeties, big nickel. I'm sure.
I'm sure our coordinator smart enough to. Yeah, I'm sure our coordinator smart enough to take that player and apply what he did well and kind of move him around and get the best out of him.
I mean, I'm just talking that's how you're as an agent, that's how you play it, right? Like, hey, 100% Commanders of old is how you would be fitting, and that's how you're valued. This is a brand new defense. No idea how he's going to fit into this defense. Right. So his market is going to. I mean, his value is shifting right now for us. His value, only the value he may have, he has tape. He's a good player, but is he that valuable for us anymore because of the new defense? Then his agent's gonna have to be like, well, let me see what else is out there. Who's going to give you, the bag that has a comparable defense that Jack. I think Jack Del Rio, like to y'all's point, that was his value. Like he mastered that defense.
Right.
Now, will that translate into whatever Joe Witt is doing? No idea.
Yeah, Pedro, I appreciate you. This might be your first time comment, man. Please like, share, definitely subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I think we have too many safeties, young safeties. I don't think they're going to draft the safety. If they do, I'll be surprised.
So,
That means they don't have
If they
confidence
draft
in what we have.
yeah, but
so you
I
have
think I think it's much more likely that if we do pick or sign a safety that's not already on the roster, it'll be a free safety, and then you bump Defoe over.
I think it'll be a free agent for sure.
so
I'd be surprised if we draft a
So
safety.
you
Go
What
ahead.
have-
about what about Charlie Gardner Johnson?
Too much drama, man.
Yeah,
But
I
didn't
ain't
he
gonna lie.
get hurt?
He came back.
And he didn't get benched. One the other dude playing better. I gotta ask Henry. But he's gonna want a bag though, right?
Probably.
He been wanting back for 3 years. They ain't gave it to him yet.
Wonder why.
So you're gonna have 3 safeties that are on rookie deals, and Cam is on an expiring deal, trying to get a new deal. I think probably we talked about it in one of our shows is with the defense, they try to get them to do too many things instead of just one thing.
Yeah.
And with Forrest, I saw the comment up there. I think it was Steven talking about Forrest at free safety. He played it okay. He still has problems with playing deep in his range a little bit. He's still more of a strong safety, just like Cam Curl, but a little bit more physical at the point of attack. I still think this team needs a true free safety at that spot. Now, to the point, Quan Martin, maybe he could play that and probably be consistent. We just have to wait to see how they install the defense. But I think that's one of the problems because, in all honesty, I think you can let Cam walk, and I think Forrest can play that solid. You may bring a curse over there.
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think it's possible. I mean, we've seen Forrest range.
Yeah.
Like we've seen his range. So is these one of these circumstances where coaching failed him? Because I've seen the range. Like I've seen him play that position well in spurts. So you think that's just I don't know. I don't know, man. Like these coaches were bad. I mean, we had a high school coach coaching DB, so it's tough, man.
In fairness, though, we only really seen one actual true season.
Oh, they gonna tell you.
No.
You want to put Quinn right there?
No.
It must be free safety.
No.
Yeah, because you don't want none of that in there. Matter of fact, I don't even want him to.
No. He's a quarterback.
I got worried when Joe Witt said we want to violently attack the ball. I'm like, I don't know if that fits Forbes' skill set.
I mean, as a free safety, I mean he tracks the ball well, he attacks the ball, whatever. Maybe keeping everything in front of him. If he's just if he's bad at a corner,
I'm worried about. Yeah, that's the part I'm worried about. His eyes gonna be so far in the backfield. No,
he would miss stuff over the top. I don't know, man.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to this Forbes thing. I'll tell you that.
But see, you got to remember, Steven, like Quan Martin is one of the. It's not too many collegiate athletes that plays nickel for 3 or more seasons. He literally played nickel all 3 years at Illinois. Like that's what he played, and that's what he played in the last game that he played in when we played against who did we play against? Was it Dallas?
The last game, yeah.
Yeah, against Dallas. He was playing nickel. And that's but this coaching staff, they see you do one thing, they're gonna force you to do something else.
I don't know, Telly. Like, I don't know, bro.
I would give it a try, man. If that's what if he's just horrible at corner and he's on his second deal, you gotta. I mean,
dog, I'm scared.
Yeah,
bro.
but what got Forbes beat
I'm scared, bro. That man skinny is. He gonna put some weight. Oh my god!
I don't know, man.
You have to put Forbes in like cover 4 the entire game,
bro. They're gonna run a GH counter and they're gonna kill him every single snap, bro.
GH counter.
Xavier McKinney.
McKinney's a free agent.
The Giants.
Yeah, he got cut.
He got cut.
I mean, that's the one on Miami, right?
I didn't know he was a free
agent. Nah, that's Xavier Howard. I think Xavier McKinney plays for the Giants.
I'm thinking about Xavier Howard. Again, my bad.
Yeah, he got cap reasons. I mean, he's been hurt the last 2-3 years too. And they paying him what 20-something million a year, 30 million, something like that. Because he got a crazy deal a few years ago. Miami paid him a lot of money.
All right, man. That's another question for another day.
What college he was?
But was he though? Some of them was tip balls and stuff too.
But you still gotta attack it though.
I mean,
some dudes don't do that well. I mean, think about it. Most interceptions are caught off of mistakes. Ball thrown too high, too far over, tip passes.
Yeah, but a tip pass, I view that as differently because the ball is just hanging up in the air. You don't necessarily have to make a great play to go attack the football. This is what somebody tipped it and the ball is just kind of floating. Man, that's more of an opportunistic thing.
We had a rack of tip balls at the beginning of the year. We got one interception. Oh man, DT, what you got, DT?
Just to end your quote about the tip pick stuff. I don't need another St. Juice, bro. Because look like we about to pay St. Juice for deflection. I ain't got time for that, bro. Interception.
She got Ceelo.
Let's get these free agent thing figured out, and I can't wait for this Justin Fields news to be put to bed.
Yes.
I'm tired of the Bear fans, bro. Like, I'm getting tagged for no reason. I ain't said nothing about Caleb Williams. I ain't saying nothing about Justin Fields other than one time today, and Bear fans at my neck.
Now they starting to tag you and everything.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I don't even talk to bro. So when I troll back, it's a problem.
Man, what you got, Breeze?
Man, you go
on. I'm tired. Yeah, I need a nap. I need to go to sleep.
Welcome to my world, brother.
I'm tired, bro. But yeah. You know.
Yeah, man, we definitely we definitely gonna be in the building. We're gonna talk about how often we're gonna drop, but the label and the brand itself, we're gonna maybe 5-6 times a week for the next few weeks. All season schedule. We're gonna drop the all season schedule for all the podcasts in a couple of days. So please be on the lookout for that because we got a lot to talk about, man. We just kind of talk about the combine and different stuff today, but we got to break down these position groups. Who we gonna bring back, who we not. So we got tons of stuff to talk about, man. Go ahead, DT. You can end it too.
I don't know your quote, bro. I'm tired.
You do your own quote. You ain't got to do mine.
Y'all get a chance. I had an interview with Southampton High School offensive coordinator, former Hampton Pirate and former Carolina Panther wide receiver Xavier Scott. Great interview. Not only just talk about X and O's, but talk about life and building the young community that we both come from, we both live in. Tap in on the Ins and Out of the podcast, DT Sensei on YouTube. Great interview. Just put it up there. And also, he is a diehard Washington Commanders fan. And he also tells us what he would do at the number 2 pick. And P.S., you're going to be surprised a little bit. But this is it for Only the Huddle podcast with Deuce, your boy DT, the Tired Breeze, and Ceelo. We'll catch you guys next week as we recap the scouting combine and much more for this crazy NFL offseason. Y'all have a great night.
Peace.